Hello once again, viewers of this wonderful marathon SpeedCon. We do have a filler run here. It is going to be Edgeworth. He is going to be playing a Link to the Past rando. He's actually doing a shard hunt, so we'll have to find a certain amount of shards in order to get into the castle to finish the game. I do believe the estimate on this is going to be like slightly about an hour or something.
Yeah, it should be about an hour. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but well, it's usually about an hour, yeah.
Okay, perfect. But before we start, I do want to read out a donation we had for a second time. It was a $100 donation by Bismarck189, and the comment read, "As the father of a child who passed away 3 months before his 7th birthday, this is personal to me. Nothing hits harder and it never gets easier. Anything that can be done to save a child's life should be done, and we should all be honored to do so. We miss you every single day, Connor, but we thank you for the gift of knowledge that helped us save Noah's life. We love you, and we will see you again someday." Bismarck, that is the most beautiful thing I have ever read, and Connor's spirit will live on in this donation, helping many other children and saving lives. So once again, thank you for your $100 donation, and it is very, very much appreciated. But right now, we are going to turn this over to Edge, and I don't know if he's got anybody on his couch, but he's going to introduce himself and tell you a little short bit about what's going on, and then he is going to hunt for some Doritos. Take her away.
Hi there, my name's Edgeworth. I'm joined by Elastoid, so we're just kind of flipping roles from the previous run here, and just a quick rundown. If you've seen Link to the Past Randomizer before, it's pretty much the same, original Link to the Past, but all your treasure chests are shuffled around in such a way that you can complete the game front to back. The only difference is, in this mode, there are 20 Triforce pieces that are scattered around the world, and that's all you need to find to finish the game up. So, hopefully, let's get this started here. We can get this in an hour.
Yeah, it's fortunate in this mode, Ganon isn't actually guarding the Triforce. The Triforce is everywhere. So, in fact, Link apparently had one of the shards just in his house. So it's fairly easy to you don't need to defeat Ganon. Once you have the Triforce, you beat the game.
So the reason why I'm picking that sign all the way up and dragging it around is to kill that enemy, so I can do what's known as a tree pull, and see what items that tree will generate once I pull on it. Today, nothing really good, so we'll just keep on going there. But sometimes, sometimes you can get bombs. Oh hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the hammer, you sort of gifted a weapon. Early in the game, usually, it's very difficult to handle enemies because you don't have a sword. And if you want to kill something, you actually do have to drag a sign around, or typically you kill things by throwing something at them. So finding a hammer is an early weapon that doesn't run out of anything, and that's going to be particularly effective.
Alright, so we have the lamp as well, so we don't really need to worry about dark rooms or anything of that nature. So now we're just kind of picking up money, taking out enemies along the way. And I can get another tree pull if I kill 5 enemies without getting hit. So that's kind of the goal of how I'm moving around right now. So we'll see if we can get that done.
Edgeworth is trying to get bombs specifically. Bombs are useful to open a lot of checks. There's a lot of areas that you can't access unless you have those explosives. So I think I'll give you a little bit of a run around there. It's definitely useful to, like, a tree pull is one of the easiest ways to get bombs. You just have to make sure that you take enough enemies down before you do.
Yeah, and just how you draw it up. There's some bombs.
Excellent. And bombs can often lead to more bombs, so that's just generally useful.
Uh-oh, we have a book early. That usually doesn't bode well. No, it's just, it gives you entrance to Desert Palace, but Desert is kind of out of the way with respect to everything else. So. The other thing we're looking for is about 100 gold as well, because that's how much you need to get the item from the vendor. And it's a little hard if you don't pick up a money chest on the way through, but having bombs is certainly going to help out with that.
Absolutely. Getting into Kakariko here, there are a lot more chests and checks that are available once you have bombs. Or Kakariko, as some people prefer to pronounce it. So getting to the basement down here, there's the 4 chests that you can get in one pass already, and then it looks like there's another chest up there in the north area of the room. So that's already 5 checks that could contain a sword, could contain a hook shot or some other form of progression, or it could contain a Triforce.
Nope. In this case, it was $60 in a bug net. But we do have our $100 for the bottle vendor, so that's good. That'll prevent us from having to take a sort of a long out-of-the-way trip getting back here.
Absolutely fortunate, like a lot of the things that could line up early are lining up early. Including more bombs being there.
Oh ho ho! Everything is lining up. There's the boots and the mirror.
So one of the largest determining factors in how long a seed will go is how early you find those Pegasus boots, because running is faster than walking. It turns out. So finding the Pegasus boots that early is definitely a good sign for the seed. Not to mention finding the mirror there, which is a good portion of Dark World is more accessible or easier to deal with the mirror.
Hey, look, you killed my family in the last game. Can you throw a chicken for me?
I'll see what I can do.
Know they were your family at the time. If that's any consolation. So Edge is going to go into the shed here, which always has bombs. So it's one of the things that, when I said bombs can lead to more bombs, you're never, if you're willing to spend the time to grab some here, you're never going to run out of bombs.
So,
I'm just going to stock up just in case.
Yeah, so I could pick up bombs from the village shop for 50 rupees, but I just don't have that. So it's definitely faster to pick it up from the shop, but that's a pretty good option if you just do not have very much money.
Yeah, not much time is lost. Oh yeah, I forgot that you grabbed the bottle, which is super useful because Sick Kid will give you something if you've got a bottle, and you get the power gauntlet, so you're able to lift rocks now, and with the hammer, all you really need is the Moon Pearl before you're successfully in Dark World. Is that right?
Yep. So the Moon Pearl with the hammer and glove is one of the entrances that you can get. So up on that shelf, I could run into it with the boots, but not really interested this time around. It's only a piece of heart. I am interested in that, though, so we're going to go do that.
Yeah, definitely worth it to grab the Triforce shard. It's going to get you 10% of the way through here. And Edgeworth saving his bombs. He's going to break through the door with his face. That, you got to be frugal with your bombs, I guess.
So, in earlier versions of the randomizer, you would be able to pick up bomb upgrades. Now, they just don't exist. You could buy them, but a lot of times you just have to make do with 10. So, anything that I can do to make that easier on me, I will definitely do. But I have Death Mountain access. But I also would like to know what is down by the dam in the mini Moldorm cave and the ice cave as well. Because it might be a while before I ever come back to that. So we'll see what we find here.
Yeah, those are often very early checks, but usually they're early checks because they're easily accessible, and because you usually don't find all the progression in the first few chests that you check. So you've pretty much opened up a great deal of the seed already, but it's still good to go to those early checks and get them done, because there is a fair they're fairly condensed. There's a lot there. So, how long do you think it's going to be before you get a sword?
I might go the entire game without getting a sword. But we'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm expecting it to be a while. This seed's already been far too generous. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Alright, cool. So the bee helped out a lot there.
Wake medallion. So we're theoretically a quarter of the way done already, although in reality, at the beginning of the game, he's going to be making a whole lot of checks because they're readily accessible. And the longer the game goes, the harder it is going to be to find these chests. So once he has to dive dungeons and everything, there's going to be a lot fewer checks per minute than there are right now, as Edge narrowly avoids one of these crabs, which do way too much damage.
Yeah, they do 2 hearts, so that would not have been good. So there's a little bit of tidying up that I want to do. We can, because we have the boots, we can go to the bonk rocks over here, and we can also double back and check the basement of the castle as well, since we have the gloves. So those are 4 pretty quick checks that we can do before I head up Death Mountain. And it would be nice if maybe one of those had a sword. Maybe, please.
I'm predicting a bloomerang because I don't think that the seed. I think the seed already has been generous enough.
So the other thing too is if there is a key down here, I can get the key, and because I have the lamp, traverse to the Dark Cross room. Hey, alright. All I have to do is complain about it.
Oh, and you got... Yeah, so the other shoe potentially not going to drop. So very fortunate that we found that key, because it means that you don't have to go the other way around. It's nice to be able to get to escape done in one go rather than having to sort of do the back end of escape and then check the front later.
Yeah, you kind of have a couple shots at this, but if you can take care of it the first time you drop down, it's a lot nicer. So I didn't mean to actually go here. My idea was to head to Death Mountain next. So we're going to make the most of the save and quit on accident. And we're going to go steal a bunch of items from an old man. We're also going to see where the green pendant is. Oh, the green pendant is in Eastern. Alright, so I may actually have an excuse to kill that boss. Boot Surly must be nice. This isn't... not rigged, I swear.
Of course, in order to do that, we would have to first see the bow. So if the... Oh my god! Master Sword, sword upgrade available immediately as well. This is going quite well. This is going swimmingly.
So the nice thing about this is I don't have to double dip the the ether tablet that's up there.
Oh yeah,
because normally, if you have the book, you can read what's on the tablet, but you require 2 sword upgrades to actually access it.
Yeah, so there's, I think, 2 tablets in the game that are like that, where it requires the Master Sword and the Book of Medora in order to get the item there.
Yeah, so it would be either the Ether tablet, which is up on Death Mountain, and the Bombos tablet, which you need. Not only do you need the Moon Pearl, you also need the Mirror for. So, but I can check that as soon as I get Death Mountain or Dark World access.
Yeah. So the 2 big progression items that we're looking at right now, we'd like to have a bow because that unlocks all of Eastern Palace, and will enable him to get that green pendant for an extra check. And we'd like to see, obviously, the Moon Pearl would open up all of Dark World. So if we see either of those early, we can say our marathon organizer's favorite words: underestimate.
All right, cool. So we've got that heart, and we've got the flute. All right. So I am definitely going to go pick that up.
Another really useful item to have, helps you. Not only does it unlock certain areas of progression, it also just helps you get around the map a lot faster. So we do need to take a moment to shout out the run that's coming up after this. Chrysalis Randomizer by Sho Fukamachi. He's an excellent character and an excellent streamer. Definitely fun to watch, and I highly recommend it. He was asked to give a promo for his run, and he said, I promise I'm going to be overestimated. He said, watch me try to get into get under 125 and then fail. Like forgetting to go to a bridge or something.
No, it's okay. The item that you need 100% is going to be in Stixie.
So Edgeworth, without the Moon Pearl, obviously isn't going to be able to linger in the Dark World for very long. Long enough to grab the heart there and to check this Aether tablet.
Pennies from heaven. That's kind of nice because now I have Zora money, and now I don't know when I'm going to get over there, but I have Zora money.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you're gonna make a Zora a priority now that you have that money, but Logic doesn't use that kind of money. I don't believe. They assume as long as you have the ability to, move. Essentially, you're gonna find rubies somewhere. So Zora's always in Logic, as far as I understand.
So there's a trick known as Harapot where you can actually glitch yourself into the wall and sort of fall into one of those drop-down pots that normally you would have to fall through one of these holes from one of the upper floors of this dungeon. And doing that bypasses the requirement for the big key, but it also means you can't open the big chest. So I'm kind of banking on the fact that the big chest might have something that I care about. But most runners will take the risk and do the Harapot trick.
In a race setting, it makes a lot of sense. In a marathon setting, it doesn't. So, I gotta respect that decision there of just playing it safe.
Yeah, this dungeon is guaranteed to have 2 unique items in it, so that unfortunately is not one of them. We found the basement key, we have the big key, so it's going to be 50-50 whether the downstairs room is going to have an item or not, and that room tends to be fairly slow.
So, Moldorm playing nice enough, it seems.
Alright.
And given a Triforce shard, so we're apparently going to skip that crystal?
Yep, for now.
Yeah, the flag that Edge has opened, in the event that he needs crystals to enter, in the event he needs to enter Ganon's Palace, I think you just need one crystal to get there?
Yeah, I should, over the course of the game, find another one if necessary, so...
Yeah, so that's... It seems a little jarring to skip it, but saves frames.
Well, I mean, that's the only one that I can kind of dip out of the dungeon without collecting it. The other ones, they kind of lock you into it through the cutscene, so it is a an opportunity that I have on that one. I kind of regret not checking the floating island item though.
And it's one of the things anybody who runs a randomizer will tell you. If you check everything except one thing, that like it's probably nothing, but it'll eat at you. So we're in Paradox Cave right now. It's so named because you fall down and then you wind up higher up on the mountain. As makes perfect sense from physics point of view. And more money just in case Zora wants to overcharge you.
That is an absurd amount of money. Alright, let's see if I can get over there. Nope.
Oh, it was a solid effort.
It was good, the bomb just wasn't close enough.
Answer question in chat. There are 30 shards on the map, and the flags require finding 20 of them. So Edge has found 7 of 20 so far. Once he finds all of them, there will be no boss fight. There will just be fanfare, because once you have the Triforce and you can have your wishes granted, there's really no reason to physically fight Ganon. You can just sort of wish him out of existence. Do you actually need to deliver the shards to the old man now?
Yeah, so they changed that in case you want to dig the rest of the seed that doesn't have a spoiler log and find out where everything is. Because it used to be automatically on picking up your 20th piece, the game was over. But then you couldn't...
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, then you couldn't... If you wanted more information, you just couldn't get it.
So the thing I said before about the density of the checks reducing is definitely apparent here. You know, I think there's what, 2, maybe 3 checks in this whole sequence.
Yeah, that's about it. So it's 3 checks, and because I have the boots. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, is that counting the map and compass?
So the map I just found, and there's no compass in this first dungeon, because technically there isn't like a boss for you to fight.
True enough.
And he always
There
has
is
the
still a
big
big
key.
key.
Yeah. Alright, so we found all the medallions. Now, what I would like to do is make my trip to the desert not take nearly as long. So, we have this handy flute item that will help us out with that.
Definitely a good thing to have before you have to go everywhere. So someone said boots early must be nice, you know. It's also really nice to have a flute early. so the desert trip is not going to be nearly the pain that it could be. We're still, it looks like the sea's going to be broken open as soon as you have Moon Pearl. So that's still the big thing we're looking for.
So yeah, Dark World Access is sort of your first big break into the seed. The second one is Titansmiths, usually. Alright, so we have bombs there, so not gonna do that.
So, this, casually, obviously, in the vanilla game is the second dungeon that you go into, but it doesn't have a whole lot of density, so ideally we don't love this dungeon. It's sort of a drag when you find the Book of Medora early, because it suggests that you might have to go here. Finally, the power gauntlet makes it a little bit easier.
I'm not gonna say no to a full bomb refill. Alright, so we have found, I think, the big key. Yeah, so there may be another item over here. Or this may just be map and compass and the boss has it. So we'll see.
If the boss does have it, are you looking forward to facing Landmolas with just a sword?
Oh, no, a hammer.
Using the hammer? Yeah,
oh, it's hammer time, yeah. Alright, so...
Obviously easier, though, when you have the fire rod or a bow.
Yeah, if you have silver arrows, they die in one hit. That's usually the easiest one. But I don't even know what arrows are.
Well, you have 10 of them. You just don't know what to use them for.
Yeah, these are like steaks for grilling, right?
Yeah, like these are just really, really bad daggers.
Why would you make these out of wood? Alright, so I'm going to move my item now so I don't accidentally mirror out of the dungeon.
So this is everybody's favorite area where the floor tiles attack you, because it's one where you don't actually have to sit through. Second favorite.
Alright, so... should be pretty good for this. I'm probably going to do sword spins until the last guy shows up. Because there's a chance that you pinball off of one and hit another guy. Yes, each sword spin is about roughly... Hey, there we go. So that book was very required. And there's our crystal.
That Moon Pearl was in like just one of the more trolly spots that it could have been. I guess this seat's generally been fairly kind though.
Yeah, so now we have lots of options.
Could have been pedestal, I guess.
I was actually worried it was going to be Aghanim.
Also a possibility, you know, if you found the cape. Oh, you have the Master Sword. Yeah. What would you need for it to be an Agassiz?
Moon Pearl to be on Pyramid, probably.
Oh yeah. Just not finding anything else is what would make it an Agassiz. I guess you were already prepared.
Let's do this.
Visiting Hype Cave now.
Tiny Shield.
That was a small amount of hype. You know, we got a Triforce shard, which is ultimately 1/20th of what we need. The blue cane, not super useful. I mean, it can be used in places, but it's not progression. I mean,
So we're kind of in an interesting spot over here right now. We have the mirror, and we could get locked out of pod, but there is a trick that you can do to open it when you don't have the bow. So we're going to give that a shot.
yeah, Palace of Darkness, I mean, it's going to require, what is it, 110 rupees or something to that effect?
Yeah, this little extortionist that's following you around demands some serious cash to hit this switch for you.
But fortunately, you found multiple caches of cash earlier.
Yeah,
so you were able to afford this.
Okay.
And some. You have enough to get Zora and in here and still donate to save the children.
Yeah. So we've got, let's see here. Oh, I almost thought I had the hammer out still. Alright, so we have a small key. Our adventure continues. So I can kind of do this in the most efficient way possible, hopefully.
You can see the movement in this area. I mean, it seems a little haphazard, it's going back and forth, but it actually is all planned out to be the most efficient possible. It's just, you know, you have to set up certain things with bombs and open certain doors, so he's going to come in the other direction later.
Alright, so there's our big key. Not super exciting to find.
It's useful, it's important, you know, it's just not, it's not nearly as flashy as a bow or even a Triforce shard.
Alright, so I actually forgot to take some damage, so I need to go back in here real fast. And the reason we need to do this is for this trick. It's the bottle glitch. And if I did it right, you can slide this room over to the side. And once there are technically no enemies on the screen, that door will open.
Yeah, normally he'd want to use the bow there to take care of those enemies. Unfortunately, without the bow, there's no way to kill the red one. So he would theoretically be locked out, but using the bottle glitch, he's able to get through. Because, as I said, once the enemy's off screen, you're in good shape. So, Ed, how long have you been doing these Dorito hunts?
So I've been doing them for about 3 or 4 years. This has been kind of my most favorite mode because it emphasizes the routing more than sort of the execution in the game. And I feel like both of them are pretty impressive, but it's just I personally enjoy the routing more. It's kind of one of those what do you like more things.
Sure, I feel like this mode is definitely more accessible to a newer player because there's no trick that's going to be necessarily required. You can do things faster and all that, but you generally aren't needing to break the game constantly to get through.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah, there's a fire rod. That opens some stuff up. Yeah, if you tune into Edgeworth's channel, you can, on very rare occasions, hear a lot of really good insight into how accessible a randomizer should be.
Yeah. I may be a little bit of a grumpy old man about some of these things, but no, I very much enjoy this mode at all. And this randomizer is fairly accessible as well. Most of the logic is done with respect to the average player in mind. But in the racing scene, to be competitive, yeah, you need to know a lot of the finer details as far as glitches go. So unfortunately, I didn't find any Triforce pieces in Pod, but maybe we can salvage this trip maybe by finding some in Eastern, since we're over here.
Yeah, obviously, we can't kill the boss and get the pendant yet, unless we find the bow in here. But there's still a few checks that can be made, and they're nearby, so.
Yeah, I will probably not return here. If I had the bow, that would have been really nice, but it's just I will never be nearer to this dungeon than now, so I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, there's never going to be 10 or 11 Triforce shards hidden in the remaining portion of the dungeon, so you're going to be pretty safe.
Alright, so I found a lot of dungeon items so far. So I feel like the boss is going to have one item, and then it remains to be seen what the other one is.
Fortunate, but, still, it didn't take too long to get here.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost guaranteed to get significant items, though.
So, as you said, this is a game about routing. In the event that you don't find any more progression in here, what would your next step be?
So my next step is to go check the pyramid item, then go to Catfish, mirror over, and that will let me do the Zora check.
It's good to have like the plan in advance, and that's actually a healthy grouping of checks. Obviously, Catfish on its own, not something that people usually like to go check. It tends to be out of the way. But when you can use the mirror and link that in with the Zora check, and if there's another ledge up there that you can find something on, it becomes less of a drag to go there.
Yeah, the ledge is going to require flippers or the water walking trick. And that's something that I can definitely do. It's just a matter of, do I need to bother with it? And just having the knowledge of what's up there is pretty important too. Alright, so we did get at least one piece out of this trip, so not a total waste. The other nice thing about this is, though, we have left a ton of checks available over in the village area, and that's going to go real quick. So if I find something significant, it's not like I have to double dip this area again because of something that I found. It really isn't. There's no Titansmith's checks over here, so we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, not leaving a whole lot behind. I mean, there's the one boss in Eastern Palace and the whatever it is that the green pendant gate, but beyond that, not too significant. And like I said, 2 checks shouldn't really block you from completing this. It'd be very different if you had to find 100% of the Triforce shells.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, too, is worst comes to worst. Hey, there's another piece. Already paying off. Worst comes to worst, we can always enter Ganon's tower as well.
Oh, can you win this game by beating Ganon?
Oh, no. I mean, we can find extra Triforce pieces in there. Yeah, you can definitely win. Like, Ganon is very confused as to why you even bothered, though. And he will tell you as much.
What are you here for?
Like, I thought I had the day off. I didn't even do laundry. I'm just not ready for this.
He doesn't give it his all, I'm sure. He's like, okay, but you get a 15% effort out of me.
You want full effort, pay me time and a half.
He doesn't even show up in person. It's a Zoom meeting. So that's 10 arrows, not exactly what we were looking for.
Oh, there is one up there. Alright, so if I find flippers or eventually just have to water walk, we'll be in good shape. But I am going to put that off a little bit because that would be fairly time consuming to set up. Oh, that's right. You have to go this way. Is it this one? No. It has actually been a while. It's been a while since I've done a Zora check.
Well, since you've done a Zora check with that flippers, it's very easy.
Yeah, or water walking, either one.
So, what do we expect to find here?
Sadness.
Well, sadness was a good call.
Alright, so we have a lot of stuff that we can do in the village, so that seems to be, you know, a pretty logical choice of where to go from here.
Can't get into Thieves Town without the Titans.
Oh,
that's
you,
not true.
Yep, you totally
Of
can.
course you can.
Yeah.
You get them there.
Yeah. No, the hammer's in Thieves Town.
There you go. Oh, okay. So, are you doing a Skull Woods first then, or Thieves Town?
So I'm going to take a quick spin through Skull Woods and see if anything in the front, like anything easily accessible, gives me an item. And we'll go from there. The nice thing about it, too, is that I can pop out and see what's on the Magic Cape ledge.
Yeah, there is that. One of the cool things about this mode is just being able to not full clear things. You know, you don't know what it is you're leaving behind, but you know it's probably not, like, crucial. You know, even if it's something that would otherwise be necessary to complete all the dungeons and all that. You're not trying to complete all the dungeons. You're not trying to face Ganon. You're just trying to find enough checks that you find 20 shards.
Alright, so we have a key. We can go check out what's on the left side here. Disappointment.
Well, while you're being disappointed, I'm going to chime in for a couple of minutes, if you don't mind.
Oh, by all means.
Absolutely interrupt us. we're talking nonsense.
Oh! I got
So
grabbed.
yes, please chime in.
Alright, hello everybody. I am your host, the Hangry Canuck, and this is SpeedCon, a weekend marathon supporting a charity called Save the Children. This charity is doing very great work in saving children all over the world for the last 100 years. And any support you could give them would be greatly appreciated. And it doesn't have to be a large amount, every single dollar counts. Even $1 can be enough to inoculate 4 children against maladies or illnesses. So, if you think any donation is too small, think again, because every dollar counts. So, feel free to give what you can. I know in these times it's rough with the pandemic and everything else, but if you got anything you can spare, it would be greatly appreciated for the charity. So, other than that, I am gonna turn it back over to the runners, because it looks like he's having trouble falling in a pit.
Yep, we're trying to set up a bomb jump here, and I'm just having a little trouble finding the magic pixel, but I think I got it. Alright, cool. Alright. So, the front of Skullwoods was pretty much a bust. So, fortunately, let's just get out of here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hager. I forgot that it was the last host that I said, please interrupt us at any time, because the charity obviously is the most important thing. So I'm not kidding when I say just do chime in.
Yeah, that $100 donation by Bismarck, I meant to say this earlier, it actually went towards the Diablo 2 run of using a fighter. So now Dad is in the lead with $100, and I do believe Sorcerer is behind it with 40. So if you want to see the runner use a Sorcerer, get your donations in now, because it's going to take a bit of money to overtake the fighter.
Oh yeah, fighter is it's a longer run, but it's also, you know, if I recall correctly, it's one of the safer runs. So if you want to see something crazy, you know, definitely donate to Rogue.
So, that was kind of a huge disappointment. Almost always you're going to find one item in the front half of Skullwoods, but it looks like the other one is Fire Rod blocked. So, I'm going to skip that for now. We're going to go to the back of the graveyard, because there's 2 checks that I can do there with the mirror. Hey, there's the silver arrows. Actually, I think that's just a bow, so...
Do you not want the bow?
I can't actually get it right now. That requires the magic cape.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the bumper.
Yeah.
I remember now. So Graveyard Ledge, not usually one of the more common checks. It is just out of the way. It's not near anything else. But gonna be thorough, and maybe we'll be rewarded.
Yeah, just how you draw it up.
Yeah, so I mean, we know there's one more shard that's I guess not entirely flippers blocked, but we'd prefer to have the flippers. So it seems like there's 8 more to find.
Yeah, I kind of figure if I don't have to set up the water walk, then that would save me some time. So if I just happen to find the flippers along the way before like 19 out of 20, then we'll be good.
Excellent. So I guess the big piece of progression we're most looking for right now is the Titan's Miss. It would be fairly useful to have those.
The Titan Myths would be excellent. That would open up so much real estate for me to check.
Yeah, whenever a new area opens, there's an uptick in the density of the checks that you can find.
All right, so
Flippers are nice to find.
yeah, so there we go. There's our 13th check, and not only that, but I can also go back and have a look at what is it? Oh, the waterfall area as well, without fake flippering. So that'll be kind of nice. That gives me a fair amount of stuff to do. Sanctuary also pretty nice. But we have a ton of stuff to do going through the south of the village yet, so should be fairly good. But what I like to do in this mode is just grab the initial chest in Thieves Town and leave, because it takes you a very long time to get through the back of Thieves Town, and this dungeon has burned me as much as it's helped me in races against Sho. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah, Sho Fukamachi, the runner who's coming on after this, also an avid runner of the shark hunt, or Dorito hunt, as has been affectionately called.
Alright, so if this is the compass, I might just go through the back. Yeah, because right now we only have dug one item out. So it actually makes mathematical sense for me to try to finish this out, so we'll give this a shot.
I can hear the enthusiasm in your voice as you say that.
Yeah, it's not exciting, but
you're super excited to be able to be burned by this dungeon.
it's not something I like to do, but this is what the numbers say I should do, so.
We are all slaves to math.
Just don't do it on Twitch.
Or meth. So, I mean, obviously, not likely to be killing blind here, though, right?
If blind has an item, then yeah. We'll see, though.
Oh, wow. That's commitment.
I mean, it's not a particularly long fight when you're there. There are times in the late game when it would take me like a minute to check a chest, so.
Still finding a whole lot of whammy prizes. This seed has gone from very generous to, well, a little stingy of late.
I mean, it definitely runs in patterns too. Like the fact is, the more chests I open that don't have anything in them, the more likely it is that I find something that I care about. So. And
the reverse is of course true. The more chests that you find with useful gear in the beginning, the less gear there is spread out through the rest of the seed.
Yeah, so you can usually, yeah, you'll definitely see trends like in your splits if you're keeping track. Like, oh man, I've been stuck at like 12 out of 20 this entire game, and then bam, 8 in a row.
Yeah, I've never really found randomizers splits sustainable.
Yeah,
I know that you always have been a big fan of them, but I just mostly I like to run randos with just a timer.
Yeah, the only reason I do it is just to remind me that, you know, hey, you still have objectives to do, and that's really about it.
That's fair. And you do run enough of them that your splits mean a lot more with the average time.
I am gonna pop in again because we do have a donation.
Okay.
And this donation is from Ikbin Maya for the amount of $50. And the comment reads, "Thanks for letting my pals Edgeworth and Elastoise and the Hangry Canuck and Sho Fukumachi and X Ice Blue participate with a heart." Ikbin Maya, thank you very much for your donation. This $50 will go to a very great cause, and we appreciate the donation immensely. Okay, I will turn it back over to the runners.
Thanks so much, Maya. A I'm a fan of Myers, as he knows. A good friend to Edgeworth, and basically everybody he was listening. So you may notice Edgeworth all close to taking lethal damage, but made use of the Blue Cane's invincibility there.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that I would have a better fight than that, but yeah, that didn't go so well. We'll take that one out in post.
To show me that I was wrong when I said that the Blue Cane wasn't much of a big deal.
Also, thank you very much for the donation, Maya. I really appreciate it.
$50, and remembering that each dollar can help inoculate as many as 4 children. I'm not good at math with Twitch, but I'm pretty sure that's over 10,000 children. So definitely thank you for the donation, and everybody, we should be contributing. This is absolutely a great cause. That was an interesting little sprite color difference for that shield.
Yeah, the flame shield was glitched out a little bit there. It tends to do that. Yeah, we have definitely hit the stingy part of the seed for sure, but we can check out what is in the waterfall, and hopefully that helps out.
Yeah, while the city is being stingy and progress has been slow, we are actually still making progress. At 13 shards, or 13 Triforce shards held and 14 known, we're getting there.
Ding!
Oh, was my math on Twitch bad? Chat's implying that I did it wrong.
No, I think just
Not at all.
any attempt to is terrifying.
You might have put a couple extra zeros on there, but that's fine.
Math is hard. So yeah, Maya did shout out a couple runs that have happened and a couple runs that are coming up. Shoku Kamachi obviously is going to be up next after this run, but also Ice Blue is going to be running I think it's called BS Legend of Zelda, and that's coming up tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that, because as far as I've seen, that's a fairly interesting run. It's very comparable to Zelda 1, but a lot of the exploits that exist in the original Zelda 1 are not available, so he actually has to beat the game. So we're gonna see what's under the bridge here. Not a bottle, it's just rupees again. Edgeworth is collecting all the money that he's ever going to need, and then some. It's great because we're trying to collect as much money as possible to save the children, but I don't know what the rupee to dollar conversion is, unfortunately.
Yeah, we are definitely hitting a dry spell here for sure. Like I said, I think what is really bottlenecking us right now is Titansmiths. So we'll see what we can do here. But in the meantime, I'm in good spot to get number 15.
Yes, Doritos have been elusive, but more importantly, it's just, I'd say like what, a third of the game still remaining unavailable because of Titan's Mist. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting blocked off pretty hard. And there's definitely some places they could be that would be fairly unpleasant to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the more annoying things to find would be the magic cape. Because if the cape leads to the bow, leads to... Although are you pretty sure that was the bow and not just the silver arrows?
So I think it's what they've done now is they've done progressive bow. So the first bow you find is the bow. The second one is the silver arrows.
Ah, okay. Also, I mean, there'd still be a chance to find the bow somewhere else, but it would be annoying if the Titan's Mist were in Pod or were in Eastern Palace or something.
So another annoying location that they could be at is over here on Death Mountain. So I'm gonna take a look and see if I can find this here. In the Aghanim tree would also be pretty bad. On the pedestal would also be awful.
There's not a lot of good places for them to be left.
Wait.
We're pretty much guaranteed to be annoyed.
Yep. I mean, yeah, pedestal would be a disaster, honestly.
But there is good news to be had, which is that we're not likely to go underestimate.
Nope, not anymore. So this room is a pain to navigate if you don't have a cane. So maybe this is actually progression. Maybe this is actually progression.
There are like a lot of randomizers. Edgeworth runs a lot of randomizers, and occasionally one of them will have a fetch quest. But Link to the Past doesn't have too many fetch quests. The shovel is one. I think the mushroom is another one, and I don't know if there are any more.
The shovel and mushroom are pretty much it. Alright, so that was definitely worth it, but not what we were looking for. So there are a bunch of horrifying options that I can do. But I'm gonna take a little bit of a gamble here. Actually, no, I can't. That's right. Not right now. So let me just refill my health while I'm up here.
So, Maya is suggesting horrifying option C.
Alright, option C it is. So, Aghanim is A. Going, Moth is B. Horrifying option C is Swamp Palace without hookshot.
Okay, chat. This is on you because chat has selected horrifying option C. C in this case is less the sea and more just a swamp, but it's sea-ish.
Hey, how's it going, Ubi?
Chat with resounding support for Swamp Palace.
Yeah, the Swamp Palace lobby is pretty active tonight. But I suppose this could make sense because the flippers did not lead me to anything. And they definitely block this dungeon. So
Bismarck in chat offering up a joke. I'm going to answer for you and say that you always want to hear a joke.
I mean, Bismarck has some pretty good jokes, so I'm down.
Well, this is a dangerous check because you can't access half of it without the hookshot. So, how do you make a sausage roll? Edgeworth?
You just push it, right?
Or is it how do you make a sausage roll? Oh, I think I might have spoiled the joke.
Yeah, push it down a hill. Yeah, there you go.
I spoiled the joke with my pronunciation.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Bismarck. I usually tell this joke in text form, but do you know how do you find Will Smith in a snow song? You look for the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, sure. Give it a shot, Bismarck.
I will try not to butcher this next joke. We've got round 2 from Bismarck here.
Uh-oh.
What did 50 Cent do when he was hungry?
I don't know. What did 50 Cent do when he was hungry?
58!
Oh, can't quite go there yet. Alright, so we need to get the... So far this has been a massive bust, and this is an illustration of why this is a horrifying option. If I don't find it here, I'm gonna go up to, go see the moth.
Well, here in front of all of our viewers, I am going to steal that joke. So this is a theft with witnesses. The joke, Bismarck, that is an amazing joke, and it's mine now.
These jokes are a massive bust, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
I
have to see a man about a moth. But yeah, Titansmiths could easily be on Aghanim. They could be on Pedestal, I think, given the configuration of the seed. And none of those options is particularly fun.
Bismarck and Maya collectively have donated at least 150 that I know of. So thanks very much for your generous contributions to the charity and to the hilarity of the stream. Speaking of Angry, I forgot. Could you remind us what the charity is that these fine folks are donating to?
I can do that. But first, Bismarck's got one last joke to tell.
Oh yeah, Edge, do you want to hear one last joke?
Sure. Oh no.
Why are ants immune to the coronavirus?
I don't know.
Because they have antibodies.
I suppose that makes sense.
Oh man.
Alright, so now we're down to 50-50. Yep. Alright. Horrifying option C was bad. Let's go see a moth.
Big shout out to Bismarck for his amazing comedy. I am just surprised that these jokes these jokes aren't more well known. I mean, these are gold. These should be spreading like the fish sticks joke.
I kind of don't want to know about that, but the charity we are contributing to today is Save the Children. They are an organization that helps children all over the world survive, learn, and protected. So any amount of money you could possibly spare would make a child's life. And if you think any donation is too small, you're wrong. Because even $1 can provide 4 children with treatment against pneumonia and life-threatening illnesses. So I mean, even $1, like I say, cup of coffee is $3. You forego 1 cup of coffee for a day, you can help 12 kids. So I mean, I do believe that number is worth a cup of coffee. So anything you can give would be greatly appreciated, and I'm sure Save the Children would appreciate it as well. And I will allow Edge to find some more Doritos. I prefer Zesty myself.
Before you
Cool
do,
Ranch is pretty good.
Hangry, I have a question. If I wanted to donate, would it be a super complicated process, or is there like a link that I can go to?
No, there is a link. If you type !donate in the chat, a link will show up, and it's basically simple as clicking a couple of buttons and putting in some values. It's not a very difficult process whatsoever.
Where?
And did you run out of magic before you?
I did, so we have to find some more. I just don't remember where. It shouldn't be... Okay, I don't know whether I despawn that or not. I legitimately don't know where there would be magic in this area. That's disappointing.
A
Alright.
minor setback.
See, I did despawn it. Alright, we're fine. I thought there was some there. If there's too many sprites on the screen, and that includes the hand that drops down, you actually can't generate another item.
Yeah, I forgot about the hand. I was thinking, isn't it 5 sprites to despawn something? It was only counting 4 enemies, but the hand, of course, takes up space whether he's there or not. So, it's very rare that I see in this randomizer somebody hit that many hearts. You have found, I think, just about every piece of heart that you can find.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because normally, kind of when you look at like the average of things, I should definitely be doing better in the Triforce department, and worse in the heart department. But
Yeah,
it's a randomizer.
The sheer amount of checks that you have gone through are showing in your health total.
Alright, so I'm gonna be a little bit judicious with this. And fortunately, fortunately I do have the 3rd upgrade to the sword, so between that and a few fire rod shots and whatever this guy gives me, we should be fine.
So Mothula should not be too terrible. Yep, there we go. I was worried. I know there's no such thing as a jinx, but I was worried.
Jinx might still be possible. We'll give this a shot here.
So is with just 3 shards left to find, is Ganon's tower starting to become more of an option for him?
I can't get in there without the Titansmiths.
Oh wow. I forgot about that. So when you get the Titansmiths, is that where you're headed, or what's the plan next?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely headed up there.
Yeah, check the pedestal.
But this is all.
And we're gonna cross our fingers and say no Titansmith.
Yeah, so it's,
Okay.
so it's not there, which means it's on Aghanim. Or our next progression item is on Aghanim, because I very much have checked everything else.
So Aghanim could at this point have either the Titansmiths, or could have
Hookshot?
what you call it? He could have he'd have the hookshot, or he could have like the worst case would be like the magic cape,
Yeah.
because magic cape would lead you on a merry quest.
No, that's a heart. So what did I miss? Interesting. Alright, to the Dark World. I think I have an idea.
Yeah, there are 2 dungeons that haven't been completely completed, but they shouldn't be in logic. So, very difficult to determine what you would be expected to be doing right now.
Yeah, so Ice Palace is the red crystal. We have done everything that we can in Swamp. We don't have access to... yeah, we don't have access to that. So, did I mark something as complete that was not complete, is the question. Let me just do a quick check here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, catfish I checked fairly early. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I was considering was the pyramid. But that is also
Yeah, you
not it.
got the Triforce shard from the pyramid for sure.
Yeah, and both of the teleports to get you to the upper ring of Death Mountain to get into Ganon's Tower are Titans blocked. So, did I miss a chest and pod? I don't think I did. In Swamp, we got all the ones we had access to. Yeah, I'm definitely stumped here. Oh, I know exactly what we did. Never mind. One check that I forgot.
Which check is that?
The shopkeeper to the left of shopkeeper to the left of Thieves Town.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so that's frustrating because there's a lot of extra things that I did that were not necessary.
Well, we'll just pretend that the shopkeeper was a whammy prize and that it was Mothula that had the thing you were looking for all along.
Yeah, I guess that's what I get for chasing logical items that didn't give me anything. Many a randomizer run has died to a missed mark tracker before, but we figured it out. It just took a little effort. So, what is this going to be? Probably hookshot? Oh, magic powder. Alright. So this lets us do magic bat.
So that actually is another fetch quest, I guess.
Yeah.
Although there's other stuff you can do with the magic powder. It's not a pure fetch quest in the same way that the mushroom is. Magic powder been used in a lot of these random runs to generate a fairy for some safety.
All
Just
right.
in case you haven't found literally every heart in the game.
Yep, there they are. Alright, cool. We could have had those 10 minutes ago. My apologies, SpeedCon. And my apologies to my apologies to show as well.
Yeah, because it's actually very important for show to start his run. I think they have a saying: the show must go on. And so yeah. Now that we've got the Titan's mitts, I'm going to use the word should here. It should be fairly quick to mop up these last couple shards. There's a lot of high density check locations that are now available.
Yeah, astounding we still haven't found the hookshot yet, so I have to go take the long way to get up here. But there's 3 checks that I can do with the equipment that I have right now, and then I also have access to Ganon's tower, so we should be okay.
How much of Ganon's tower can be blocked by, like, a hookshot?
So I should be able to open, like, 7 chests in there, so we should be fine.
Yeah, with just 2 Triforce shards remaining, we're very nearly done with this. Unfortunate that Mothula was the one guarding those Titan's myths.
A little bit of revisionism there. Alright, cool. So there's one up there.
I mean, I don't know that the Link to the Past randomizer historians will care so much about this day, but if they do, let them write in their history books that myths were at Mothula.
So, normally you can't get, Normally you can't get any of the chests that are in Hookshot Room. But you can bonk with the boots, and that gives you just enough, space to get one of the treasure chests in there. And hey, we found the gold sword, so, I mean, we're in show mode now.
You're finding everything you don't need.
So, I mean, I guess this is appropriate if I'm going to hand this over to show, right?
Absolutely.
Alright, a little disappointing. Yeah, this seed has been giving me the business for sure.
That said, you got 1 shard left to find.
I
almost got bombed into the pit there.
Yeah, don't jinx it. I have been at 19 out of not 19 out of 20 an awful lot in some of these seeds.
Not only will I say I fully expect you to find the last shard quickly and easily, I will say there is no such thing as a jinx, because everybody knows that those words ward off jinxes that are coming up.
Stop!
Whenever somebody says that's the ultimate jinx, I say no, the ultimate jinx is saying there's no such thing as a jinx.
Alright, so I didn't know if this contingency plan was actually going to come into play or not, but here we are. Oh, hi Cat.
So a rare appearance on stream of Mila the cat.
Yeah, she's very vocal about when she's hungry.
She's hungry for your success.
Yo, there we go. Alright, what was this? Alright.
But did I tell you there was no such thing as a jinx? I told you, and then there wasn't. So I am vindicated by this anecdotal evidence.
Make sure the historians get that down, too.
Absolutely. The Link to the Past historians need to write in big letters the day that it was determined that there's no such thing as a jinx.
So, the only thing I regret about this seed, other than misplacing the Titan's myths, is the fact that Show wasn't racing in it. So, but you'll get to see Show in a bit, because that's time.
Wow, I didn't even know you could end the game like that.
Yep. So this is definitely a fun variant. 122 is still not terrible, but yeah. Sorry, apologies for going over estimate. I swear my average on my splits is right around an hour.
Well, to be fair, when this run started and I implied that we might go underestimate, we were told strictly by the manager of the schedule, do not. Being underestimate is forbidden territory. So that explains why it took you so long to check Mafia.
Yeah, no, we were on 20 minutes of the safe side. So
yeah, you were on pace to go 45 minutes before you decided to ignore Mafia.
All right. We have the next run technically ready here. So, Edge, Elastoid, thank you so much for your runs. Edge, thanks for throwing together this run for us to help us fill a gap. We appreciate both of you very much doing that for us. So, and like I said, the runs were very good. Sorry, Elastoid, you had a little trouble with yours, but the game looked pretty interesting. So, hopefully next time you run it, you won't have that kind of bad luck. But yeah we are gonna. Go ahead.
So I can hope, but yeah, go ahead and introduce show.
We're gonna take a short intermission, and we will be back with Shofu Komachi's run of Chris Dallas Randomizer.
all right,